I am a huge fan of Barstool, and that means I'm a huge fan of Stu Feiner, and I always consume their content through the years, and we've had some interaction. Like Jersey Jerry used to call me late night before anybody knew who Jersey Jerry was to kind of win a contest with Brilliantly Dumb, and he would ask me about like steaks, and he would ask me about Gordon Hayward somehow being a top 10 player in the league, and there's been some other guys like Mincy and Frank the Tank that we've met through the years, but I always love Stu Feiner. And I watch Barstool Sports Advisors religiously. Like I am I'm very weird with my TV. I'm a big reality TV guy in terms of Real Housewives of New Jersey, Jersey Shore, all that stuff. But one of the sports shows I watch is Barstool Sports Advisors with Stu Feiner, Jersey Jerry, Big Cat, Dave whenever he parachutes in. And I always remember Stu talking about someone by the name of Tom Kennedy. And Stu's son grew up with Tom Kennedy on Long Island. And I kept on hearing this name, Tom Kennedy, Tom Kennedy, Tom Kennedy, from the great Stu Feiner. So I'm doing the Red Zone on the radio, the studio show, when we were called CBS Sports Radio, the 8-hour marathon. And one of our stringers, right, it's an antiquated system. The stringer calls in from the stadium, 1st and 10, and the Lions have thrown the ball to Tom Kennedy. And the moment I heard the name Tom Kennedy, I just screamed, Tom Kennedy is here! Shout out Stu Feiner! And the video made its way to Stu, and Stu and I then became really good friends. I've been to Stu's house on NFL Sunday, seen him win a lot of bets. He orders food for 4 people, like food for 35, and he's the most gracious host that I know. And this has been long overdue. Now joining us, the preeminent sports handicapper in the nation. He is the most entertaining. And let's be real, he doesn't even need a big pair of knockers to sell you his picks. From StuFeiner.com and Barstool Sports, the great Stu Feiner. Stewie, how are you?
Love that intro. Doesn't get any better than that. If I run for office, you're going to be the promo guy. I feel amazing, feeling hopeful, feeling positive, feeling blessed. Thank you so much for having me. Obviously, I go way back with your father, with Mike and the Mad Dog, and your father's been a legend forever. And then we talk on Facebook here and there.
With my dad?
Yes.
Well, he's crazy on Facebook.
I love him. He put some stuff. I don't know if he's teasing. I don't know if it's true. I don't know what's going on. But I say hello.
I've been calling him Bobby Biden these days. Because there's some posts that I go, Dad, what are you doing putting that on there?
We'll leave the political out of it. But he's very funny, and he's very witty, and he's very intelligent, and very articulate, and he taught you the business, obviously, from when you were a little kid, which is one of the posts that I put up there. So then when we met, it was like 2 peas in a pod, hugged it out, hung out, partied, had a great time when you were over the house. And I have followed your work from the inception. And basically, there's nothing you can't do. Literally, off the cuff, off the top of your head, you know it, you eat, sleep, and breathe it. And, there's no pretense. You have an excellent opinion. You could roll forever. So it's an honor to be here, to be part of Zach Gelb's world. It's great. I love it.
Well, we love having you in. Now, there's a lot going on in the world today.
Yes.
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got engaged.
Yes.
And I think you should ordain the wedding. I think they should hire Stu.
Well, I just want to say something. And I'm dead serious about this. Everybody was asked, especially at Barstool, the most important engagement ever. And a lot of them were saying it's Travis and Taylor. Absolutely not. Let me tell you something right now. I went out with my wife, Sandra Feiner, for 10 years and a day before we got married. We went out 8 years before we got engaged. I was so scared to get married that I put on like a $25,000 in 1986, equivalent to $250,000, maybe $500,000 now, engagement party because I was scared to get married. So Sandra Feiner and Stuart Feiner was the biggest, greatest engagement ever. Very easily trumps, no pun intended, Travis and Taylor. Let me just say that for the record. So, of course, it's big news. They're icons. I love both of them. There's nothing not to love about both of them. There's nothing to not root for both of them. Now, obviously, in the business we're in, which is compared to the eyeballs that are on them, we have 1/1,000,000th of the pressure. It is extremely hard to have a relationship in the spotlight because everything you do, everything you say, Every word gets scrutinized. Everything you wear gets picked apart. And as we know, we're in the business. 90% of the social media is negative. Negative sells. Negative gets the buzz. And they're both extremely positive individuals. I love both of them. There's nothing you could look back in the past that you could say, wow, that's a red flag, because it's not. They're human. And I just pray to God it goes the distance. I pray to God it works. They have children. They have a loving family. And they can be powers of example that you could still date in this day and age. You could still get engaged, get married, and have a relationship that works in front of the camera, where the eyes are on every single move you make. So very big, very positive. I don't think it's a surprise. I think everybody knew it was going to happen. Just when is it going to happen? And I'm glad he dropped it and she dropped it a week before or 5 days before college football, because it really would have bothered me, to be honest with you, if I'm watching, Texas, Ohio State, and the bottom headline, urgent announcement, flash, news flash, they got engaged. So I think it was perfect. It gives the buzz. Everybody that's obsessed with them, my boss, Dave Portnoy, obsessed with them. Kelly Keegs, obsessed with them. There's a dozen people at Barstool that eat, sleep, and breathe. Everything they do, they know everything about them. They know every word to every song. I go back, my relationship with Taylor Swift was, I spent thousands of dollars on Taylor Swift tickets going to Jingle Ball 20 years ago.
I haven't heard Jingle Ball in years.
Jingle Ball for my kids. Like Hanukkah gifts.
Yeah.
They wanted to see Taylor Swift. My 36-year-old, maybe 25 years ago when she first started, she was a nobody. She played at Jingle Ball. So we went to see her on Jingle Ball. I fell in love with her. And I'm not so privy to her last, let's say, 10 years.
Sure.
But I am very privy to her first 10 years. And I really loved what she did. And, of course, the relationship she went through with John Mayer and so on and so forth, that she got really, through the ringer. Like they killed her the first 7-8 years she went out with people, because she had the reputation of killing men. She'd go out with a man, break up, and then destroy the person on an album. But, and obviously Travis, Super Bowl champion, epic icon, looks like, a male model. He has a great face. He has a great personality. And, even though he failed last year, he's been a living legend almost. And he gets obviously the biggest woman in the world to marry. Like, who wouldn't want to marry her? 1.6 billion aside, she's amazing. She's gorgeous. And, I'm hoping they really go the distance.
Stu Feiner in studio with us. So you living your life in the public eye. Whenever we hang out and I post you on social, you post me, I always get a lot of messages about you. And people always wonder, is what we see on social media real? And I go, yeah. I go, Stu Feiner can't fake anything. I go, what you see is what you get with Stu Feiner. But I'm glad you brought up your wife earlier in the conversation, because that's actually, I think, the most important question I get asked, or the most frequent question. What's Stu's wife like? Like, he's just screaming, saying all these things, the 15, 30, all this stuff. And I go, Sandy's the nicest person. Nice. She's, very quiet, lets you do your thing. And you're very fortunate, obviously, to have someone like that.
I mean, I have literally been with her 47 years of my life, back to back to back. We went out 10 years in a day. We got married. We've been married 37 years, but we've been together since March 11th of 1978, every single day. Not only did she come work for me in 1980, the first year I started in the business, but 1983, her father came to work for me. 1984, her brother-in-law came to work for me. 1985, 2 of her sisters came to work for me. But not only did they came to work for me, they renovated and innovated my business. Kevin Duffy, when he worked for me, I went from $2 million to $6 million to $10 million to $12 million to $14 million to $16 million a year under his watch, under his expertise. My father-in-law was an incredibly enormous Swede. He was like 6'3", 380. Wow. He had hands that were like mitts. You know what I mean? And he was brilliant. He used to own Fairyland, which was a arcade in Brooklyn. And then he owned his own plane. He had a carry license, so he always had a gun at his side, open carry, because he was always dealing with cash. And then he went into the auto supply business because he was brilliant. I mean, he could do anything. He could read something, and he could do it as if, he invented it. He went into the auto supply business at these flea markets, and he was making a ton of cash. But later in life, his body broke down a little bit, so he became like security for me. Then in the 80s, where I created a bi-weekly schedule of all the games that were listed in the 80s. Now you take it for granted. You pull up the internet. It's on your telephone. It's on TV. Then it wasn't. So we created a schedule that was the Las Vegas order that you needed to have when you called your, at the time, illegal bookmaker, because they would rattle off all the games. Like on Saturdays, 50 college football games, let's say. They would rattle off the games like quickly. So you would need the exact schedule the game was in. We were sending 250,000 pieces of mail out every 2 weeks, and he ran the whole mail operation. So Sandy has been such an integral part of my life. I would be nothing without her. One of the things I tease about, she's Irish Catholic. And Irish Catholic are the most honest, loving, got your back people in the world. Now, thank God, I'm extremely funny. I take risks. People love me because I fail in front of the cameras. And just like you said, what you see is what you get. It's what I am. She is brilliant. She has a photographic memory. She's super smart, highly intelligent. So thank God my 4 sons, I have 4 sons, 36, 34, 30, 26, all have her looks and her brains. Thank you, Lord, for that. So she has brought, without her, I'm basically nothing. Be honest with you. I hate to say that, but it's the truth.
You know what? You're going to laugh how I basically came across you, because I'm only 31, right? So I don't know Stu before Barstool. But my first job out of college, I was the afternoon host, program director, board op, salesman. I'm a Jewish guy. They had me program directing a Christian religious radio station and the local Fox affiliate. And we would take any advertisement possible. And there was this guy, Brandon Lane, who would call in every week and sell his picks. And he would market himself, I'm the main guy that Two for the Money is made after. So I didn't really do any research on it. I go, he wants to give us money to talk to him once a week? Sure. And then he was giving us some of his picks, and his picks weren't all that great.
No, he was horrific.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm reading more up about the movie Two for the Money, and then your name pops up. And I'm like, oh, that's who Al Pacino played.
Yeah.
It was Stu Feiner, not Brandon Lane.
Brandon worked for me from 1990 to 1995. The movie was a disgruntled employee's standpoint on him working for me, which was Brandon. And Brandon embellished the entire story. All Brandon ever was a 900 feeder on a 900 number. And in 1991, 1990, 1992, he had a very good opinion. And then all of a sudden, it went horrific. So 93, 4, 5, 6, he hit about 30%. But he was such a good salesman that he was still able to write a ton of money for me. I let him go. Finally, the customers were leaving us in droves. So we took away his ability to pick the games. My brother-in-law, Kevin Duffy, gave him the games, and he fed the games. And the numbers went off the wall, successful, and he couldn't handle it. So he left me. So he went to Australia for 2 weeks.
Did he become like a caddy or something?
Then he caddied at the Riviera Country Club. And the way the movie was played out was he caddied Danny Gilroy, who's Rene Russo's husband, and Dustin Hoffman. And Danny Gilroy at the Riviera hit a 56-foot putt. He was so excited. Dustin Hoffman was so excited, gave him $20,000 on the spot for his life rights about him working for me. Because what happened was, at that time, he left me because he couldn't handle it. And he was broke when he left me. He spent all his money on bad habits, like most people have. And, I've had them my whole life, too. So It sits on Dustin Hoffman's desk for 2 years, from 95 to 97. In 97, I get a call that one of my friends who is a detective, and they guard like celebrities. And Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo were talking about that Dustin Hoffman's playing Stu Feiner in a movie called Two for the Money. Wow. P.S. I said, get me that number. So I call. They give me Danny Garreau's number. I immediately threatened his life on the phone. I said, listen, if you play me in a movie, not only am I going to do really bad things to you, I'm going to do bad things to your wife, and I'm going to ruin your life. 2 seconds later, Brandon calls me and goes, what are you doing, Stu?
Wow.
You can't queer this deal. I go, well, tell me what's going on. So he told me the whole story. He comes back to work for me, and Hoffman declines the deal. So from 98 to 2001, he declines the deal finally in 2001. And then she shops the deal. Rene Russo shopped it. And at that time, there was never a movie about sports gambling. People didn't think it was going to work. And finally, after 4 years, she went to Jim Robinson of Morgan Creek Production. And he said, I'll put up the money. I had to sign an NDA that they were allowed to use my TV show, The Sports Advisors, in the movie, where Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey, and Jeremy Piven were on my TV show. And I would say 80% of the movie is nonsense. 20% is true. And then it just took off. And that's basically the movie.
So when you have, the thing that I guess can relate to the most here, and it's a reach what I'm about to say. My mom actually, when she was in high school and college, dated the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So
wow.
When that, and my mom loves you, by the way. When that movie came out, we all saw it as a family.
Oh, my God.
And my dad sitting there, and I think it was a Christmas day. So, right, a bunch of Jews.
What a great movie, by the way.
Christmas Day. Phenomenal movie.
One of the best movies ever.
And the movie we had 4 tickets left. We got the last 4 tickets. So we're sitting in the first row. And it's me, my sister, my mom, and my dad. And my dad's sitting at the whole movie. This is who your mother dated. This is who she dated. So that's someone that we knew that there was a movie afterwards. You have a movie basically after you, and Al Pacino is playing. That's got to be the most surreal thing ever, right?
I mean, I literally have made probably $15 million leading in with Al Pacino. Al Pacino played me in a movie. So much so that out of the blue, another lottery ticket that I won in 2016, Dave Portnoy, out of the blue.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who Barstool was because, you would have to be in your 20s to know who Barstool was. At the time, I'm like 57. Dave Portnoy calls me and goes, Stu, me, my uncle, my father used to watch your original Sports Advisor show in the early 90s, from 90 to 2003. We absolutely loved it. We love you. You were an innovator. You were the first person we ever saw to take sports gambling into an entertainment level, into, really make fun of yourself, scream and yell, but keep it serious. And we also loved the movie Two for the Money. And we loved Al Pacino's depiction of you. We'd like to bring back your show, rebrand it Barstool Sports Advisors. What do you need? I said, what do I need? I said, can I get 2 1-minute commercials during the show? He goes, yeah, of course. He goes, what else do you need? I go, Dave, I don't need anything. Let's go. And then, it was me, Dave, and Big Cat for the first 5 years in New York until Dave wanted to pick up residency in Florida, so he could no longer do the show. He had to be in Florida. I think like 6 months, 30 days out of a year, and he would save X amount on taxes. Correct. So, and then that's how, so the Al Pacino is always my calling card anytime anyone meets me and anyone knows my story, because that's iconic, Whether the depiction of the movie or his depiction of me is in a good light or a bad light, doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, how many people on this earth can say Al Pacino played him in a movie, and Rene Russo played my wife, and my TV show is in the movie? So, it worked out well. By the grace of God. There, by the grace of God, go I.
Well, I want to get more into Barstool Sports and your relationship, obviously, with Dave Portnoy. Let's take a break here because I got to do an advertisement. We got to pay some bills. We'll be back in 5 minutes with the source, the legendary Stu Feiner, StuFeiner.com. Does a great job, obviously, with Barstool Sports. And coming up next week, it's another year of Barstool Sports Advisors, which I watch each and every Friday night. We'll take a time out. We'll be back in a few minutes right here on the Zach Gelb Show. So you told us right before we went to break, right, the origins of Stu Feiner, and then also how Dave Portnoy came into your life when they wanted to relaunch Sports Advisors. That show is so fun. And we talk about how Al Pacino, right, played you in a movie. I think it's even cooler that Big Cat and with PMT, and they're doing the whole interview with Scotty Scheffler. And he just brings you up like, oh, my wife and I, we watch Stu Feiner, and then we go to church to have the greatest golfer in the world now. And I know you're a big Tiger guy because you live right next to Bethpage Black. I've seen you screaming, Tiger, we love you, Tiger, Tiger, all those years ago. But you never know really when you do this who's listening and who's seeing the content.
Oh, I mean, no two ways about it. I mean, the Ryder Cup, matter of fact, tomorrow, 45 of their employees that built all the buildings there are coming swimming in the pool.
Oh.
So we're having food, we're having a keg, and 45 of them are coming to the house. Yeah, I mean, when Scotty just dropped that, because he's a Christian, he's a God-fearing man, and when he said, Meredith said to him, are you going to see the number guy, meaning 69, yes. favorite number, favorite position, like my mouth open. And you know what it is? The show, as far as my influence on people, I'm like the star to the star. I'm like the biggest stars in the world love me because I'm so outrageous. Mm-hmm. I'm so funny. And off the cuff, I actually make people laugh. And that's the key. I'll do anything and everything. I'll make fun of myself. I'll make fun of people. I'll destroy Dave, Big Cat, Jersey Jerry. I don't hold back. And they take it with a grain of salt. They love it. It's performative. But Scotty Meredith and their son Bennett should be at my house Monday, the 22nd, before the Ryder Cup starts, which will be the 23rd to the 28th. Yes.
They're coming over to your house.
90% yes.
Are they going to stay there?
No.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping I get them. I make them a bowl of soup. Yeah. Maybe make them a little pasta. Just hug it out with them, and it'll be very on the QT. We're not going to be blasting it or going live.
Well, but, you know what you should do? You should have your wife, because your wife makes incredible matzo bread.
Did you taste it?
Yes. You should have your wife make the matzo bread. I bet you Scotty Scheffler has never had matzo bread before.
So I would bet no. There's no two ways about that.
Yeah,
no.
the name sounds Jewish, but
it does. Right, exactly. Absolutely. But, it's an honor to have people like that, love me. Saquon Barkley loves me. Like we just went to the Eagles-Jet game, and I went right at the locker room after the game, and Saquon's hugging it out with me. He's like my favorite guy in the world, and because I'm best friends with his manager, Ken Katz, and we party and go everywhere. But like the assistant manager came out, gave me a big hug, took a picture. The backup quarterback came over. All the Eagles love me. Like anywhere I go with these teams, because they watch Barstools Sports Devices, because of Dave Portnoy, because of Big Cat. They're ingrained into the world of entertainment. Dave and Big Cat are the two biggest in the world. No two ways about it. So it's an honor to have them love me. I can't. It's amazing. Like Frank the Tank just threw out a pitch. Yeah. We were in Maryland. I mean, I must have literally taken like maybe 500 snaps, 500 pictures. And a lot of them are with girls. A lot of them with, we love you. You help you help my life, 15, 15, 30, it's mind-blowing. And Sandy's just sitting there going like this, like it's wild, girls are giving the phone to Sandy. Sandy, can you take a picture of me and Stu?
She's like, that's my Stu, not your Stu. Get your hands off. Because Sandy's really a gangster, I'll tell you that. Yeah. I would not want to cross over Sandy.
No.
She will make sure that you disappear. So off of that, though, some of my favorite moments in the show, because there's some moments where, like, Dave and you, like, I don't know if you guys are going at it, but Dave's like, I just want to get to the picks. And he creates for funny moments. Big Cat likes to throw you under the bus sometimes. But the Thanksgiving episode, that to me is your Super Bowl, where they bring in all this food, and in between picks, Stu is throwing the turkey at his face, the sweet potato pie, all this stuff. And you walk out of there covered in the food. I'll never forget. And everyone's had this situation, right? You never want to mess up a girl's hair. But when Hannah was your weather girl and you threw something,
oh my God,
she played it off like she was fine with it. She was not happy.
She was livid.
Whatever you got in her hair.
She was livid. She texted me, you owe me $500 because these are brand new, like, extensions. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I'm serious. Yeah. Like, and then of course she backed out. But no, she didn't take it well. she literally didn't take it well. I thought, certain things I do are over the top, and whatever.
You got to bring a poncho to that episode.
No two ways about it. And it was so funny. Last year when I dumped gravy on my head, the gravy was scorching hot. I burnt the top of my head. I had like scales like coming out of the top of my head for weeks on end. It was crazy. But listen, remember, I'm 64 years old. So I come from almost the Borscht Belt slapstick. When I was a young child before I was 10 years old, my mother loved comedians. And part of the comedians, going back, let's say 50 years ago, was people's food fights. Food fights were the biggest things. Pies in people's faces, at the kitchen table, food fights. So I always ingrained myself into doing that type of comedy. Anytime, even in the 80s and 90s when everything was not filmed, there was no internet. Anytime we went out to a restaurant and I took my whole crew, when I had like 220 full and part-time people, and really every night the gig was we'd work from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, and then 8 at night we go out to dinner on me until 11, and then we're going right to Atlantic City before it closed at 4 in the morning. So we would have food fights constantly. So I love that. It's funny. It's super funny, and that's where that comes from.
There's only two people that I've been around that have cared as much as getting everybody fed, and it's you and then also Craig Carden. Like when Craig worked in this building, the amount of food, and it's not just, I got free food. It's the army that you could feed. But that's what people love to come together and eat food and eat a ridiculous amount. You went to Fort Charles last night?
For my second time.
Oh, my God.
Amazing. The waiter literally said he has never seen someone order as much or eat as much as me. And he said he's seen 500-pound people walk in the place.
Wow.
Like I ate, it was good 8,500 calories.
And you're doing like 8-mile walks now?
Yeah, I've done, today was day 67. I've done 510 miles. Regardless of what I do, how much I sleep, what I ate the night before, I am on the path doing between 5.4 and 10.8 a day, averaging like 60 miles a week. And I'm walking to exhaustion as fast as possible. And, that starts the morning. It gets out all the negativity. It cleanses your body, cleanses your mind. You think about what you're doing for the day, and you just feel positive. So exercise is critical in my life. I weigh 192 right now. I'm supposed to weigh 150. I'd be 230.
Yeah, but the videos you do, the weigh-in Mondays, where it's like, hello, Stairmaster, hello, Mr. Elliptical, and then you weigh yourself, and if it's below weight, I lost 3.7, or if you're like 7 pounds over, I'm a fat bleep. Those videos are great videos because you see so many serious videos of people, right, documenting their weight loss journey. And I never could tell if Stu's actually trying to lose weight or if it's just a bit. That is always what has mind bleeped me to this day with you.
Well, I mean, I use food to deal with life. To deal with stress, anxiety, inadequacies, insecurities, failures. And the flip side, I deal with food, using food to celebrate, to have a good time. Nothing is better. Even be honest, well, especially now that I'm 64, it's better than sex. Nothing is better going out with really gut level friends over a meal, sharing gut level, opening up, you drop your guard, no pretense, and you have amazing food, and there's a bonding experience. Yeah. It's the greatest experience in the world. Nothing's better. Nothing's better.
And I'll tell you, I got to give you a lot of credit and also Jenks a lot of credit. Because my friends and I, we love Frank the Tank. Well, Frank used to join me when I was in 2017 or 2016 when I was doing my radio show in New Jersey. And we would see Frank at the games, and we would see him freak out after the NJ trip. The amount of weight that he's lost, and just through walking, better diet, it's really, we talked about you captivating this. That's captivated the sports world as well. Yeah, you walked with J.J. Watt, right?
Yes, and he was amazing. He was so funny. He kept drilling me on Steve Mahalik stories.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, tell me about a Steve Mahalik story. Tell me what Steve Mahalik was like. Yeah, he was amazing. But, and he really launched the Frank the Tank walks, because that put meat on the bone. it gave it credibility that an A++ star was willing to get into Frank's corner and walk with him. That really launched us. But yes, when I first met Frank, when he did his first rant that got picked up by Alex Rodriguez and Frank Thomas on MLB Baseball, Frank weighed 527 pounds. This morning, Frank did his 700th
in the city,
consecutive walk, and he weighs 296.
Wow.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Now, first of all, when I met Frank, I figured most people gave him like 3 months to live because his feet were black and blue,
swollen ankles,
diabetes, but like at the umpteenth level. And by the grace of God, the man can always walk. Like I take him to, like when I met him and when he first got the job, also he was broke. He owed like $30,000 on credit cards. He was a court clerk. He couldn't afford anything. So I would have to, I do good enough that I took him under my wing as my buddy, get him Ubers to my house, feed him. I got him a gym membership. I got him a pool to swim in at a gym membership. And I did what I had to do.
You're like America's uncle. You really are.
But, I'm very blessed and grateful because I've had a lot of bad years in my life. You know what I mean? I was in foreclosure with my house 4 years, then got out of it, made one payment, went back another 3 years. So I was in foreclosure 7 years thinking every day they're going to knock on my door, take my house away. My mortgage was $17,400 a month. So, I know what it is to really struggle, to really, feel less than. So when I see someone in trouble, and especially my weight, I've struggled my whole life. I was up to 262, as low as 148.
I was a fat slob when I met you too.
Right, you were huge. You were enormous. So I really loved Frank, and I really wanted to help Frank, and he was such a good human. You know what I mean? He's a good person.
Yeah.
And so like I'll do whatever I got to do for anybody. To be honest with you, I'm humble, grateful, blessed. If I give it away, it always comes back to me. That's how I feel. I've felt that way my entire life.
We got one more segment with Stu Feiner. We got to take a break. We got to get a Rich Ackerman update in. We'll come on back with the source, Stu Feiner, StuFeiner.com. Also, the great work that he does at Barstool Sports. Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports banned from Ohio State, Texas to kick off the season. That Ohio State is not letting Dave, who's now part of Big Noon Kickoff, be in the stadium, and then the great college football show that you guys do, not letting them broadcast from Ohio State's campus. Now, Ohio's Soft University, they're now saying that's not the case. They never banned Dave, blah, blah, blah. How do you react to all this stuff? Because it's amazing to me. And I'm a Michigan fan. My two best friends went there. But I love how much real estate Dave has in the Ohio State fans' head these days.
Well, I mean, it's similar to the NFL that banned him when, he
Goodell
got pulled out of a Super Bowl. He was wearing a fake nose and a mustache, and they put him in jail, for breaking the NFL code of he's not allowed to go to games, Big Cat PFT. You know what it is? Of course, it's almost unbelievable how soft they are. But by the same token, you know what he's going to do. He's literally going to sit in the stands with his phone and absolutely eviscerate the Ohio State Buckeyes. He's going to just constantly just say how great Michigan is, how soft Ohio State is. They're not the true champs. They can't beat Michigan. And in this day and age, I'm sure people don't want to see it. They don't want to hear Dave. And, I love Dave. We're for Dave. We back Dave. But, it's weak. They're the champions. But by the same token, Dave could just twist it the way no one can twist. That's what makes Dave Dave.
Well, that's the interesting thing to me. The AD for Ohio State, Ross Bjork, comes out today, and he goes, well, Dave's not banned from the stadium. It was Big Noon who didn't want him in the stadium. It was Fox who didn't want him in the stadium. Oh, if I'm Dave, then you got to walk in the stadium on Saturday. And if we'll see if he's actually banned or not, because you could have another incident where Ohio State security, like how NFL security happened, drags Dave out of the stadium, and that's a huge win for Dave Portnoy. If that happens.
Would love that. He would revel in that. He's dreaming about that, salivating right now. He would love to walk in with his crew, and he would love security to arrest him, put cuffs on him, and put him in jail. That would be like the greatest thing ever. That would get that would blow up the internet. The first week he does the show on Fox, it would get gazillion views, and trust me, everybody's going to be pinned to that fight. You couldn't have paid enough money for the buzz right now to watch Dave Portnoy now. Like, it was big enough, but now it's over the top. I mean, ESPN must be throwing up in their, right in their laps right now. It's like, ESPN who? ESPN what? Like, they become a secondary show for at least week one. Dave Portnoy's must-see TV, and Ohio State just blew him up to the stratosphere, to the moon.
It's amazing to me. We haven't even got to week one yet, right? It happens this weekend. We already had the Kansas State's quarterbacks, father and brother, fight each other after the game in Ireland. And Dave is still in Ohio State's head. And we haven't even got to week one of the actual college football season.
Oh, God.
It's going to be an epic college football season.
It's gonna be unbelievable. It's going to be the greatest storybook ever. It's like, a drama. It's like a soap opera. It's like a reality show, but the best ever.
Is the source Stu Feiner? Is he buying the Arch Manning hype train right now?
Oh, 100%. He's amazing. I mean, he's absolutely amazing. I don't know if they're going to beat Ohio State. How I pick my games is day of, 30 minutes before, I see where the really sharp money, the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a bet. But, yeah, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I mean, he's great. He's everything that they say he is.
What's your favorite bet that you've ever won? Because I was fortunate enough where I got to watch one Wild Card Weekend with you, and you're very calm. You're very calm, even when things may not look like they're going your way. And then eventually something happens, and it does go your way. And when you won every bet the day I was with you watching the games on Wild Card Weekend, and there was a UFC card at night. But when you go through this and you look back at all these bets that you played, like, is there one that still stands out to you that's like, okay, that's the bet that really defines Stu Feiner?
I mean, there were two bets when the Broncos beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. I mean, everybody just wrote them off. But the
15-1 Panthers, yeah.
Right. The main there's two bets prior to that. When the Dallas Cowboys went on the road and beat the San Francisco 49ers before they annihilated the Bills in the Super Bowl, there was nobody alive that thought the Cowboys were good enough to beat the 49ers. I'm talking 99.9% of the world did not believe in Jimmy Johnson and the Dallas Cowboys. And I had the Cowboys throughout that whole season. I had them winning the Super Bowl. That was amazing. That was one that will stick in my mind forever because it really gave me insane credibility forever because people thought that the 49ers were invincible and there's no way they could lose. And then going back to when I went into the business, 1980, when the Oakland Raiders beat the Philadelphia Eagles, when Ron Jaworski and Dick Vermeil's team, and they were the darlings of the NFL, they were a 4.5-point favorite, and the Oakland Raiders were really like the Drake of society. They were cheaters, they were criminals, and then they were the bad guys and the Eagles were the good guys. And me and my pop were like, there is no way in the world that the Raiders are not going to murder the Eagles. And they did. So I would say the Eagles losing to the Raiders. So number one would be the Raiders, 1980 Super Bowl.
In New Orleans, yeah.
Number two would be the championship game, the Cowboys beating the Niners, and then the Broncos beating the Panthers. Those stand out in my mind, like epically.
It's amazing. You've been here with us for 52 minutes. People were betting today in the newsroom how many times you would curse or how many times you'd have to dump your audio. I think this was a great 52-minute audition where we got PG Stu. We got entertaining, clean Stu. I think Portnoy, I know he's doing the big noon stuff, but they're going to do that daily show for FS1.
Yeah, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Listen.
I got to see Stu Feiner on it. I'm caught in a box because what works is R and X Stu. Yeah, of course.
That gets gazillion views. It gets the A++ personalities in the world to blow it up. But I can do G, I can do PG, I can do PG-13 all day, twice on Sunday. I've given thousands of speeches in my life to schools with, third graders, second graders, first graders. I know how to control myself. Yeah. So I can give it the goal and still be entertaining.
The two people that I think are wild cards, if they'll get on the show or not, that I want to see, you and then someone that I grew up listening to, Kirk Minahan.
Right.
Who I love. I know some people don't like Kirk. I'm a huge fan of Kirk Minahan.
Kirk
I need
is
to
definitely
see Stu and Kirk on that show.
Kirk is definitely going to be on.
Okay,
There's no two ways about it. I think when he has something that's hot and buzzing and Dave wants to promote him, yes. So I think he will. I don't know with me because I just don't know. You know, like the main thing is he has people under salary, big salaries that he has to push, that he has to promote. So this is a perfect way to do that. With me, he thinks that the Sports Advisors show, Barstool Sports Advisors, that is enough for me. Plus, he likes to protect that I am not filtered on everything else. He likes that. The only way you're going to see Stu, Barstool Sports Advisors. So I put myself in a little bit of a box where I do so amazing on that show that he wants me to stay there.
I know we only got a minute left here. NFL, just real quickly. Who's the one team that you're really buzzing on going into this season?
I mean, look, Eagles, Bills, Super Bowl, and let's see what happens. You know,
that'd be fun. I'd sign up for that right now.
You know, and I would say right now, Astros, Brewers, World Series, and Astros take it all.
Okay. StuFeiner.com, the great Stu Feiner from Barstool Sports. It was an honor to have you in studio.
Love you. Thank you so much for the opportunity and trust. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. We'd be crazy not to put Stu Feiner in
anytime, for an hour. And whenever you need me, I'm there.
Well, Stu's going to the Met game tonight. So am I. So I'm sure we'll run into Stu there. Is Frank going to the Met game tonight?
Yes. Frank will be there because they give out that nice pin tonight with Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, Gary Cohen. It's pin night.
Gotcha.
It's a good pin.
Definitely collecting the pins and all that.
Not really. I'm going to give it to Frank. Frank loves them. It's unbelievable.
All righty. That is Stu Feiner from Barstool Sports. Once again, check him out, StuFeiner.com. He's a legend. There's really nothing else that I have to say.